Welcome back to the Run Dusty Run podcast, where runners from all over the world share their stories and running journeys. Along the way, we hope you'll be inspired and encouraged, and that community will be built. Today, we welcome a special guest to the podcast all the way from central Wisconsin. We welcome Heidi Baka to the podcast. Heidi, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be on the podcast. Thank you.
You bet. Well, Heidi has been just a great follow on social media, a great encourager. In fact, I think one of the first kind of runners on the social media community that I had a chance to interact with, and always super encouraging, and always seems to be traveling and running wherever she's traveling. And so super excited to have her on the podcast today. But Heidi, as always, we have to do this. We have to start with the icebreaker round. Are you ready for this?
Hey, bring it on.
All
Fire away.
right. All right, Heidi, you are required to give a random 30-minute speech on something non-work and non-running related. What are you giving a speech on?
Probably food. I'm kind of a foodie. Food or maybe tattoos, but I'd say food because I like to eat and I like to cook, bake. So I'd say food.
Okay. And you are always acknowledging what day Tuesday is every week, correct?
Taco Tuesday. Everyone knows.
That's right. That's right. All right. Heidi, if your running style resembled an animal in the wild, what would it be?
An animal in the wild. Well, being from Wisconsin, I would have to say a Wisconsin deer because sometimes I'm just like gallivanting in the woods, listening to my music. Sometimes I'm like beelining it when I'm running, or other times maybe it's like Frogger across the highway, just standing there. So I'd have to say a deer.
All right. All right. All right. Okay. Heidi, so if you are crossing the finish line of your favorite race and they are playing Heidi's anthem, what song are they
Oh,
blasting over the speakers?
that is a good one. I listen to all sorts of music, which I'll go into later. But do, I would say probably some AC/DC, some Metallica, or maybe even Linkin Park, whatever it takes. That's always a
Oh,
good running song.
okay. Would you rather
Okay.
run a difficult race and get an awesome medal, or run an easy race that you really loved running and get a janky medal?
Hard race, awesome medal. I want that
Yes.
shiny blank, and I will work for it, whether it's hills, whether it's heat. Bring it on.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. You're going for a 10-mile run, Heidi. What is the one thing that you must have and you will not leave home without it?
10-mile run, music. So probably my shocks, but it has to be music. I can deal with whether it's rain, sun, but have to have some tunes on.
Right on. Last question. You're almost through here. Most embarrassing or funniest moment that has to do with running?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know if I have been the most embarrassing. Just recently, I was in South Carolina, ran a 5K, and it was through like this cute little boardwalk area. Took a detour, so I ran extra distance, but I ended up PRing and placing in my age group. I
Nice.
don't know if it's embarrassing, but it was funny to myself because I could have shaved off more time, but
Mhm.
I got a little turned around. So I'd have to say taking a detour during a race.
Awesome. Well, you survived it. Thanks for being
Yeah,
a good
I did.
sport, Heidi.
Thanks.
All right. So tell us a little bit about, I know we have a lot to get through and I'm excited for it today. Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and how on earth did you get into running?
Okay. So again, Heidi, as you mentioned, Central Wisconsin. So I'm born and raised in the glorious state of the Packers, the Badgers, all four seasons, and all of that. You being from Illinois originally, kind of Midwest.
Uh-huh.
So that being said, I was always a swimmer growing up. All through, I spent my childhood years at the local pool in middle school and high school. So I was a swimmer, lifeguard, went to state for backstroke. And so I didn't start running until I was an adult. I had my first child. I have two awesome kids who are just wonderful. My son I had in January, so in the dead of winter. And once I was cleared to, get back to activity, I started to run. I started like the walk run, like you walk a block, run a block, and so on. And I just kind of got addicted. But then a year later, I got pregnant again with Ava. And then, so I had her in January. And after that, I signed up for my first half marathon because I just kind of fell in love throughout those two childbearing years. But that being said, my first, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I just had this baby. I signed up for a marathon. It was in Green Bay. At the time, it was called Touch the Tundra, which was really cool. You actually like start at the Lambeau Field parking lot. You run all around Green Bay, and then you go into Lambeau Field, and you do the whole circle. So that's how you like touch the tundra, and then you run out of the tunnel where the Packers come out of, and then that's the finish line. And of course, they give you the Wisconsin way. Here's your brat, here's your beer, and here's your cheese. So that kind of set off like the whole distance part of running, which was kind of a great way for me. And then after that, I just kept building on it and kept running since.
Awesome. So how many half marathons are you up to now, Heidi?
Oh, I don't even know. Like I've already done a couple this year. So I try and do several a year, and then with that I add on a challenge. But the half is kind of my like fun, where it's enough to train for, but it's
Uh-huh.
also like not quite as enduring or distance as a full.
Sure. So I know you travel often,
I
and
do.
it always seems like wherever you're traveling,
I
there's
find
there's a post about travel, and then there's the eats and the drinks, and then
yeah,
there's another running medal. So tell us,
it yeah,
how do you balance all of that?
yeah. Okay. So with my job, I work from home, so which is great. But then I also get to travel. So I'm a manager of a team that's across the whole country. We hire PT. So, which is great. So, if I ever have like an injury, I have people to hook up. But that being said, I go to conferences across the country. So, whenever I have a conference, I first thing I do is like, ooh, is there a 5K, 10K, half marathon? So I kind of take some extra PTO days, and then incorporate it. If there is no race, I find like a local fleet feet. I'll hook up with like a running group and say, "Hey, what nights do you run?" And that's how I got involved with a few of them. Sent them a message on Instagram, and then if there isn't, such as like in Salt Lake, I end up like hiking in the mountains like a goat, and then went on this like horseback guided tour. So wherever I am in the country, I try and whether it's for work or personal travel, try and find a race that correlates. When I was in South Carolina, I'm like, hey, kids, everyone's doing a 5K. I don't care if you walk it or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, okay, that's bomb. So I always try and incorporate. And it's always fun to run in different locations. When I was training for my first week of training, I was at a conference in New Orleans. And so, how cool is it to kick off my training in New Orleans, ran across the Mississippi, through the French Quarter, Bourbon Street? And so, it's always like, hey, that's how I started this training set or block or whatever. So it's always fun to look up in different cities, different routes, different running groups, and different races. So and then of course there's the food. I'm a foodie as you've seen, and so I like to enjoy those treats, and probably part of the reason why I run too.
Yeah, there you go. Easy justification there.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Heidi, one thing that that's very clear was very clear to me in the beginning, and
Mhm.
remains true, and for all of those who follow you on your social media platforms, just the way you always seem to be positive, just super encouraging all the time. But we also know that in running, but just in life in general, which kind of
Yeah.
pours into running sometimes, like it's not always easy. Life happens and things get difficult. And so we have a lot of folks in our listening audience who are working moms or dads or
Hmm.
whatnot.
Yeah.
In terms of keeping that balance, but also like, how do you stay positive? How do you keep pushing forward in such a positive way when life happens and it's hard?
It's exactly hard. So, but as you said, I try and have a positive mindset. And so I always try and find these silver lining in something. And yes, we all go through different challenges, bumps, whatever in our lives, and whether it's work, personal, running, that sort of thing. But there's always something to take from it. And so I try and look from that. Like, okay, this challenged me, but I grew from it, or I learned from it, or maybe my journey helped inspire someone else's. Like, hey, if I can do this, so can you. So I always try and find that self positive, but it's also a mindset thing. Like with a mindset, you have a choice. Even if you're going through a dark place through the woods, you have a choice to keep pushing forward, or you have a choice to be like, I'm just going to curl up. Just having that positive mindset and also to encourage others, because I'm one that you never know what someone else is fighting, their battles, whatever it may be. What's going on at home or their work, or how they're feeling. So, if I can help inspire and be positive to be like, you know what, that brought them a smile, then it makes me feel good too, because it's just to spread that, like spread kindness. And as you mentioned with running, it's you do have those bad days. And it's like, as the saying or the t-shirts go, it's those days that you don't want to run is probably the days that you need it the most. And it's
Yeah.
so true, because then after that run, you feel so much better. You're like gripe, like, okay, I'll put on my shoes or it's raining out or whatever. And then after the run, you're like, oh my God, I just did that and it was so great and it was so awesome. And so you feel better. So those endorphins are kicking in, but then you can look back and say, you know what, I didn't feel like doing it, but I got up, I showed up for myself and I did it. And one thing with running is like, you, at the end of the day, it's on you. No one can run the miles for you. No one can say, hey, you have to go. I mean, if you're part of a running group, you can choose to stay, but you can't fake fitness. Like it is what it is. And
Yeah.
so that you have to show up for yourself and you have to be accountable and you have to say, you know what, I can do this. And it's that self motivation, kind of self competitiveness in a way. And it's just, showing up, because at the end of the day, there isn't anyone putting in that mile for you. And so if you're posting it on social media, people are seeing that to be like, hey, I had heavy feet. I did this or whatever, but I got up and I did it. And here's the awesome run. I mean, yep, every run may not be sunshine and rainbows, but
Yeah.
it's something that you can talk about to say, oh my gosh, that run was so hot. I got stung by a bee and whatever. But you look back and you did it and you laugh about it. And so,
Yeah.
and if there's another tough run, you're like, well, if I can do that, I can do this. But yes, I am a positive person. I try and find that silver lining and try and spread that to others.
Yeah, and you do that well, and it's no secret. As I mentioned earlier, when I first started my running journey a few years ago, um, I knew that I needed some sort of accountability living out here now in the middle of Southwest Kansas.
I hear
Definitely
you.
need, yeah,
I'm
definitely
around Fort
needed,
Hill.
yeah, yeah, needed some accountability, and so I turned to. I didn't know what to do, but at the recommendation of a couple friends, I turned to an online group, and from the beginning, you were one of the biggest encouragers in there and
Thank you.
remain so today. I don't know, it must be something in the water in Wisconsin between you and Coach Todd and Hannah and the crew.
Yeah.
Super, super thankful for each of you and your encouragement and your willingness to share and encourage. So tell us, Heidi, a little bit about how the running community has been an encouragement to you.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, I mean, I could talk about the running, it's like family, so to speak, and they are all over the country and all over the world. And those that follow me, whether it's Strava, Instagram, and Facebook. So it's great because like that family celebrates, your highs, your challenges, or your wins, but also picks you up on those lows. And so everyone is there for each other to be like, hey, has anyone maybe even purchased these kind of shoes or have this injury? And so having that community to me is like priceless, because it's like family, and they get the weird quirks that we all have. Like, hey, I have a long run tomorrow, so I got to go to bed at 9 o'clock. So sorry, Friday night, see you guys.
Yeah.
Or like if we all get a pair of new shoes, we're like, it's like Christmas. Like, keep the whatever gifts, but just these new shoes, it's like we get so excited. And so another runner who experiences that is gonna see like how exciting it is, or post race, or even putting in the miles, you're like, oh, like they just like smoke that run. And so just to cheer each other on. And it's so great when like we can meet in person. So a
Yes.
funny story, I was in Chicago for work like a month and a half ago, and
Yes.
Janet lives there and she watches this. And so I've known her for like, I don't know, 7 years or something. We've never met. And so I had this short window of one night after I had landed. So she's like, hey, we're having this big family birthday party. She's like, you're invited. I'm like, okay, I don't have nothing to bring. So I'm one like, I want to bake something and buy a gift and this and that. She's like, no, no, just come. So I like chucked my suitcase at the hotel. She sent me this random address. I get in the Uber. I'm like, okay, this is where I'm going. No clue where I'm going. And so they drop me off at this house. Wasn't even Janet's house. It was a brother's house. And there's like 30 to 40 people in this house. And they're all like,
Yes.
come on in. And they're like hugging me and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And they're like, so you "No, Janet, really?" I'm like, "Well, I know her online." They're like, "She could have been, someone else or whatever," and you show up at our family's house. But it is so cool to be, like, part of that running family that we, talk all the time, and then when we see each other at races is kinda just that icing on the cake. But, yeah, it is like family, and they do, support you, whether it's your running journey or you become friends, outside of that, whether it's, career or personal goals or things like that. It truly is inspiring. And also, like, you get to see like other races, be like, oh my gosh, that's a cool race. So and so just ran. I think I should look at that. And then, like I said, just help to celebrate the highs and pick you up on those low spots.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think it's easy sometimes when we get on social media and we do have a lot of folks who will listen or watch this who are maybe just getting into their journey or
Hmm.
who have been on it in a while, maybe for a while and they're maybe starting to get into the social media platforms, but there really is something very real and very is awesome and exciting about knowing these are real life human beings too, not just like internet characters. So,
It is.
yeah, those
And we all post our runs and we're all like a hot mess express. I mean, we all look like after we just ran, like there is no like sugarcoating anything. It's just like this is like you said, the raw, the real, and also, but like if your people have questions and they'll post it or whatever it is. So it is just like you said, real human beings going out and doing the things that you want to do or that you enjoy or you ran the race. So yeah, it is super cool.
So Heidi, we have a lot of folks who, and I feel like I say this every week, but it's really true. Like who maybe this coming weekend, as this will go out, maybe even tomorrow, will be running their first maybe 5K or 10K
Yeah.
or even half marathon. What are the things that you see a lot of runners getting wrong, thinking they're doing it right, but getting it wrong?
Yeah, which is great because we all have somewhere to learn. But just, I guess, to kind of back up the train, just getting out to do it for the first time, like kudos to them because one, it could be intimidating. One, they could think that they're not fast enough or whatever it is. And I always say, at the end of the day, for everyone, a mile is a mile. Whether you're an 8-minute mile, you're a 14-minute mile, somewhere in between, a mile is a mile, but you were out there doing it. So, one, give yourself kudos, give yourself a pat on the back for that because you're laughing everyone on the couch. And by you doing it, may inspire someone else, may inspire your neighbor, your friends, whatever it may be. And also with just doing it, it's a mindset change. And after you run that first race, you're like, oh my gosh, I did it. Now I want to build off it. Now I want to try this time or this distance. And it's got so many benefits, whether it is like the mental, the therapy part of it, as we all know, the endorphins and how great, but it's also the physical. Maybe someone's looking to get on a health journey or meet more people. So, but as for advice, I would say just keep doing it because
Yeah.
with that, being consistent is what will get you to be a stronger runner. And again, it's not like you have to go out and run this crazy pace. I know sometimes we all get excited and like our first mile, we're like,
Yeah.
oh, going too fast. I mean, we've all been
Yeah.
there and done, but you also learn by it. You're like, you know what? I kind of like ran out of steam by the time I got to here. But that being said, you just keep showing up, and keep being self motivated, and keep working at it, and it's just going to come naturally, and it's going to come easier.
For sure. I Something you shared earlier really stuck out to me, the idea of like there's no faking fitness. And I kind of to circle back around to this, one of the things that I really admire, Heidi, about you and your running journey is just the way you stay consistent because I mean, all joking aside, it's amazing to me how many posts I see that you're traveling, but you're still getting a run in at the gym or on the hot, humid beach somewhere or in some
I
race
know. I
and
love
yet
it.
you're still getting those miles in. So, I just that what would you encourage a new runner or maybe a beginning level runner with in terms of just staying consistent and kind of overcoming that grind sometimes of like, man, I need to get out there and get my 5 miles in, but I'm just not feeling it today.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I think we all have some time. I'd hit that spot, but so I turned it around. I don't say I need to. I say I get to because you
Yeah.
see all people that are injured, and I'm blessed that I get to do it. And so to me, like some people always say, "Hey, have you seen this TV show or this one, that one?" I don't watch much TV, which I know sounds weird and crazy and bizarre because I work all day and then I save that time to run. So I get to
Yeah.
run. So I would rather, unless it's football season, whole different story. But that means I changed around, like, I get to run, and, like, last night it was pouring rain, I still went out and did it, knowing that, "Hey, this is a run day, and so I'm gonna take advantage of it." And then well, in the winter in Wisconsin, it's a little bit changed to a treadmill, but I still get to run. So, that
Yeah.
being said, show up for yourself, and if you have to schedule it as of this time to say, "Hey, I'm gonna hold myself accountable 6 AM no matter what, or 6 PM," no excuses, I'm showing up, I'm doing it, and it is what it is. And after a while, you kind of crave it, and you sleep better, you have mental clarity, whatever it is, all that falls into place as you are more consistent, and then you see those benefits. Like I sleep better on nights I run. It's just how I don't know how it works, but at least for me. So if I don't run, I'm like, oh, sometimes I toss and turn, but it's the end of the night, run, hot shower, bed, and then I sleep better. But just keep showing up for yourself, even if you don't want to. And it's a mindset change to say, you know what, I get to, because there's people out there that are
Yeah.
injured or whatever it may be. And so look at it that way as an opportunity to, as like your own personal time.
Yeah. That's a great perspective is that we get to do this.
Hmm.
Heidi, you, again, just continue to be a super positive encouragement and inspiration to so many. Who are some of the folks that have, inspired you along the way in your running journey?
As as for folks, I would say it is one of the you're running in groups. I mean, yes, there's the Olympians and things like that, but it's the working moms, it's the people moms and dads that are making that time in and that have, like I said, I started running when I had two little kids, so it was okay. Maybe it's a jogging stroller, maybe it's they're out there doing it, and so then I'm like, okay, I can do that, or maybe it's someone in your same age group, or someone very older than you. I know we've all been at the race and you're like, okay. And again, no offense to any worse, but like if someone is 80 out there, I'm gonna get my buns out there and do it because I get
Yeah,
to. And so it's seeing some of the inspiration in some of the other people out there doing it. And again, having that privilege and being healthy and blessed and that I get to run, and hopefully that with myself running it can also inspire others.
for sure. Heidi, I know that in each of our running experiences, we've learned lessons along the way.
Yeah.
What are some of the lessons that running's taught you?
So I guess if it's just like you're on the course, make sure that you stay hydrated. We've all been there, done that. You're like, okay, it's 85 and I'm starting to feel cold. This isn't a good thing. So whether it's training or course wise, listen to your body, stay consistent, and put the time in. Because again, you can't fake fitness, so you can't say I'm going to do a marathon and not do any training. But otherwise, just overall with running, it's like you can do hard things and you can challenge yourself. Every year I set a challenge for myself, and it's some type of race. And so, like one year it was a full marathon. Last year it was a try. This year I'm doing a 10-mile challenge race. It's the course is rated very hard. It's in Hawaii. You go through like coffee bean fields and you go up
Oh,
this like big like bluff, and the end of the race is at the top of the bluff. And we all know as runners who ends a race at the top of a hill. But that's why it's probably why I called it a challenge. So you end at this top of this hill that it just overlooks everything in Hawaii. Again, I'm going for work, but then tacking on PTO days because again, I'm in Hawaii. So I put a challenge for myself every year to something I haven't done, or maybe it's I want a PR in this or that. So I just keep pushing yourself, keep challenging yourself to grow and again, maybe it is that time, maybe it's a destination. I did put my name in for the London lottery. We'll see what happens there. But I am a true believer that always have goals, and I have that in all aspects of my life, whether it's finance or personal or work. And then with running's actually like a whole page. It's like monthly mileage or PRs or something like that. But just keep challenging yourself, and I feel like that's how we all grow, and that's how we all inspire each other. And to say, hey, I'm going to challenge myself, and you put it out there. There's one little blurb I like of Matthew McConaughey's that I listen to quite a bit. And so he has this little thing you can go to Instagram, YouTube. And so he says that this is how I operate. Do what you say, what you can do. So like if there's a challenge and he really like, don't just dip your toe in. You just
mhm.
dive in. And don't half-ass it, sorry for my
No,
language, but
no, you're fine.
that's
You're fine.
and he's like, "If you half-ass it and you come back and look in the mirror and then you say, 'I didn't give it my all,' like, I didn't know if I could accomplish that. So, give it your all, and at the end of the day, you go home and look, in that mirror and you're like, 'I did it, and I found out, so this is what it is,' versus the coulda, woulda, shoulda at night to say, 'Well, if I would've trained better or if I would've, pushed harder.'" So, I always kinda keep that in mind to say, "You know what? If you're gonna do it, go all in. Don't just put a toe in and be like, 'I think I'll do a marathon.' No, go in,
Mhm.
put in the time of training, and then execute it." So, I always kinda think of that too. So, every year, like I said, I kinda push myself to a different challenge of something outside the box. Last year, I also did an obstacle mud run where you're, like, in, like, neck deep of mud and army crawling and sandbags and those old batteries across a platform, like,
Uh-huh.
so I beefed up a little bit before it. I'm actually doing it again, but because it was so fun. But get outside that comfort zone. I always tell
Yeah.
my kids and my colleagues to say, get comfortable being
Mhm.
uncomfortable, because once you get in that comfort zone, you kind of just like stay there and you don't push forward and grow. So get outside that comfort zone as something that it might scare you, but if it scares you, that means it's something that is exciting.
Yeah, for sure. So Heidi, I love the way you blend the running with challenges that
Mhm.
are hard to get acclimated to, that take some extra work.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things on a more practical and basic level that to our listening and watching audience that you would say like are maybe easy to overlook but are very important to remember?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I guess just overall fitness. I mean, one, make sure that you're eating decent, make sure that you're getting sleep, because that is going to affect your running. If you're showing up and if you're eating all junk food, you aren't going to be able to perform. But if you're just looking at running, just say, put in the time. And I'm sometimes guilty that I need to slow down and do those like easy runs as posted online. But you need to incorporate hills and some speed work and some long run days that you maybe pace it back a little bit. So I think just even overcoming some of those running types of evenings or nights or days, meaning, okay, I'm going to do hills tonight, because let's be honest, no one loves doing hills, but hills does give you, some good stuff back, or doing
Yeah.
speed work or whatever it is. And then also lifting weights. I lift weights in the morning. If I can see them on Strava, it's every morning, 30 minutes, whether it's abs or weights, because that's how you also look at preventing injuries and things like that. So try and incorporate those different things and challenge yourself. Okay, this week I'm going to do 10 pounds. Maybe in 2 weeks, I'm going to do 15 pounds or whatever it may be. So you can always find a starting place, but then always find a place to grow. But keep those challenges of mixing up your runs, not just the same route every run, because you won't get stronger doing that same route. Add in some
Yeah.
hills, add some speed work, things like that.
Well, I know that I am speaking to someone who or speaking with someone who is not afraid to embrace a challenge, and I would even say maybe a crazy challenge. So I was thinking about this the other night. I procrastinated. I like to think we all do from time to time, but maybe it's just me. But I ended up pushing an 8 mile with hills run off till after a leadership team meeting we had. So I'm out. People probably think I'm a crazed drug addict at like 11 o'clock at night in Knox gear, like light up gear and a headlamp that went out halfway through, running up and down these big hills in our city.
It needs to
Uh,
clap.
yeah, it's like so I say that not to brag, I say that as an admission of procrastination, but, like, it just seemed I'm like in my mind, I was like, "Of all the runs that I've done, this is the craziest one, like, this is so, like, out of pocket that this is crazy." Like, have you ever had any of those experiences? Like, what's the crazy like, what's the craziest time you're like, "I can't believe I'm doing this right now?"
Yeah, I signed up for this reindeer run and I'm like, "Oh, it's going to be cute. It's going to be fine." And there's a snowstorm the day before and then it froze and it was super cold. So I'm like driving in like one lane, and again, so dedicated. I'm like, "I signed up for this race. I'm doing it, dang it." And it was like a 10K, and it was like, I don't know, 8 degrees or something. And so all you can see is like the whites of everyone's eyes because they have face. And I have these like reindeer head like a headband on top of my I probably have a picture somewhere, on top of my hat with this big old tassel. And I show up and I have like 2 pairs of leggings, but again, running shoes. I didn't have tracks on at the time, but and a coat. And like my eyelashes were like almost like frozen, like shut because then like your eyes tear up and everything. People showed up with like snowboarding goggles. And I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I have rain-ons to begin with, but I don't like the cold, but I'm here out in this reindeer run in like 8 degrees because dang it, I signed up and I'm doing it. Which I did place, and that they gave you another hat, but they actually gave away beanies with whatever, which was super cute. And like Santa showed up, and Santa wouldn't even like get out of the vehicle because it was like so cold. But that being said, I'd have to say just dedication to sometimes, like you said, it could be 11 at night. I also one other crazy one was I was doing a Ragnar, which I know you've done Ragnars,
Yeah, yeah.
and the road one where you jump on the van and all that kind of
Yep.
jazz. It was from St. Paul to Duluth. And so it was my first Ragnar ever. And so all the advice is like, hey, run on tired feet, run during the night. So I was like getting up at 2 a.m. to go jump on my treadmill to go like run like 8 miles and then like crawl back in bed and then like get up for work again. And then like so I was doing this and my kids are like, "What are you doing? It's like 1 a.m." And so I would say that was kind of crazy. But again, I was prepared. Someone got injured, so I did like double the run. So I'm like, yeah, people stop at Quick Trip all the time or up here getting the coffee and then like 2 a.m. Oh, another funny story that we ended up having lightning and we got stuck in this barn with all these animals like Farmer Judd's like prize pig. And so all these Ragnar runners, because there's lightning, we're all stuck in this barn with all these farm animals. It was like 2 a.m. and we had to sit and wait it out in like the hay and everything. I mean, typical Midwest. So craziness is yes, as some of those things between the extreme cold or the dedication, like you said, you're out there 11 at night or I'm at 2 a.m. on a treadmill because I'm trying to mimic the timing of like the Ragnar runs.
For
Stuff,
sure.
stuff.
Yeah, a couple very powerful motivators in running is that A, you signed up and paid for it, and B, that you told people you were running that race.
Yeah. So you have to do it. And then you have to post about it because people are expecting it.
That's right. Because if you don't post, there's no proof. That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
Man. So Heidi, tell us what is your let's put it this way. Heidi, if you could run any distance of a race you wanted
Mhm.
and any place on the planet you wanted,
Ooh, wow, that's a tough one. Okay.
what's the race distance and where are you running it at?
I'd have to say probably a half because I don't know, that just seems like a little bit easier to bite off. A half and then somewhere warm and beachy. But probably like some, I don't know, Fiji or something like that. I haven't run any of those types of destinations. I've done beach runs in the US here, but somewhere warm because I do like the heat and I don't mind running humidity. So somewhere warm and give me a half marathon.
Well, it doesn't surprise me that you enjoy the humidity. The thought of a half marathon on a humid beach, it makes me sweat thinking about it. We went to the Ozarks this past week and I did a little because we don't have a lot of humidity where we live now. Like it's
Mhm.
pretty arid. And we went to the Ozarks and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna just knock out an 8 mile run in the hills. I called it good after 6 miles because I was out of trail and I was out of gas. It was super humid. I don't know how you do it. All right, so Heidi, what's up next? What are you most excited about? What do you got? What do you have coming up next?
Yeah, what's up next? There's a few things on the docket. So I'm doing the mud run obstacle course. That's a 5K, and that's more like endurance, strength a little bit. Like I said, you have to haul sandbags. You have those like fake car battery things, and then a lot of mud. So they bring in all this mud, and you're like up to mud, like waist chest deep, and then like the army crawl, or it's a net, and you're on your back like a turtle upside down. So that's kind of fun. So that's coming up in August. I'm doing another try. So kind of funny. So my first try, I did get second place because of the swimming that again is natural to me, and the running
Uh-huh.
was great. But that dang bike, it's like a love-hate relationship with the bike. So I want to like do a comeback and be like, I'm bringing it now. So I actually bought a bike trainer on Black Friday last year.
Okay.
I've been on the bike, and so now I feel like I can knock that time and like PR it for myself. That's coming up this summer, and then, of course, that, Hawaii 10-mile challenge that you end up on, like, the volcanic bluff or whatever it is. So that's what's coming up for kind of the summer and kind of creeping into end of summer. So I think I'm gonna do a 5-mile 4th of July run, sprinkle in some of those for extra fun too.
Awesome. Awesome. So
How about you?
you're
What's coming up for you?
Oh, I am gonna go, we're going with some friends to Nebraska of all places in August. I needed something. Coach is like, "We need to get you something before
Yep,
Philly." I'm running
yep,
the full marathon in Philly in the fall, and
so
so we're gonna
fun.
go to the Nebraska State Fair in, I think, Grand Island. Never been there before, and gonna run a half. I tried to kinda sneak it in to run the full, and everybody I talked to was like, "You do not wanna run a full marathon in Nebraska in August.
And
You will regret it." So, I'm gonna take
probably
their
good advice.
advice.
Probably good advice. Yeah.
So and then as many
Well,
little area 5Ks as
yeah.
our little 9-year-old wants to run, we'll keep
Oh my gosh.
doing her
Absolutely.
races at her pace, so
Making memories. Yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure. Well, Heidi, this has been a blast. I'll have, one final question here for you.
Yeah.
Again, too, we have an audience that is sort of from all different places in their running journey. Some have been doing it for decades. Others, like I said, literally at the time we broadcast this, they'll be preparing for their first 5K the next day.
That's so oh my gosh,
What
just
one piece of advice would you give to our listening audience when it comes to running?
one piece of advice. Oh, there's so many different pieces of advice.
More than one's fine.
Yeah, one piece of advice is show up and do it and have fun. Enjoy it. But you have to show up, you have to be consistent, be that self-motivated and enjoy it. Whether it's you're putting on music, whether it's you're running with friends, whether it is just running by yourself, listening to, the birds in your feet, have fun with it, but see it as a time that you get to run and that is your fun time. So just take it and embrace it, I would say.
Awesome. Well, Heidi, this again, it's been a blast. Thanks so much for joining us. This has been Heidi Baka, all the way from central Wisconsin. Again, Heidi, thanks so much.
You're the W.
As an Illini fan, I'll let it slide. But anyway, this
Well, thank you for having me. It's been such a pleasure, and I can't wait to share this with others. And hopefully, I have inspired someone. So, thank you again.
abs- absolutely. As always, this has been the Run Dusty Run podcast, where we continue to encourage you to keep going and keep showing up.